Laurie and I seem to have remained in swapped positions because I'm normally on the other side of the screen, but
yeah.
Anyway, and that's kind of weird. We're kind of like done the Ant and Dec thing.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone at home is going to be confused. They're going to think I'm Laurie.
And I'm Rob.
Yes.
Although we did have that occur once with the dice gods fucking with us, but that was a different matter.
But, anyway, on to the target of what we're here for. In Dragon Age, the group is staring down the final boss room of the sunken Temple of Yig. The door is open,
and oh boy, have we got a story for you!
Yes, it really is. What happens when a boss fight turns into drama? I'm going to say, right from the off, for you to consider, this is the Avatar of Yig. Okay? The Avatar of Yig, but Yig has long since abandoned this world, abandoned his people, much like the Maker. So what the hell is the Avatar of Yig now? Hit it. You guys were super cautious at the beginning of this.
Yeah.
There's no way you wanted any part of jumping into that fight.
But no, we didn't want to jump into the pit.
Karak came up with an idea.
We'll lead a zombie in here to see what it would do to it.
Yeah. So he managed to wrap a rope, right, and got it round the top of the head and round its arm and kind of caught it like that. And from then on it became Trunky.
Yes, Trunky the zombie.
That. Trunky the zombie. And he led it into the room there and led it towards the edge of the pit. But, of course, there was a lot of stamping and vibrations, and Tanador went forward, and Harold went forward, and Carrick went forward with the zombie, and stomp, 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 and Tanador's the only one that actually succeeded at a stealth roll, and, of course, snakes feel the vibration. This thing is so big, it can feel multiple areas of the room connectively.
I wouldn't be surprised if it could fill the whole temple if it wanted to.
It probably knew you were coming, or knew that there was someone inside. But if the doors don't open, then it doesn't give a damn.
Yeah. But the doors have opened, so it does give a damn.
And it starts up coiling up out of the pit. Yeah, you are.
Carrick then proceeds to I kick the zombie down the hole. Down the pit.
Yes, because it turns out that this is no normal giant constrictor snake. It is the Avatar of Yig, which means not only is it a constrictor, but it's actually also got poison.
Yeah.
Right? And if it was
constrictors don't normally do.
And if it was alive, it would probably be able to spit that poison additionally and be even more deadly and fast. Because by the way,
it's a zombie.
By the way, I just want to say, because it's a zombie, it's got a special rule where it can either move or attack. If the
we could have just ran around the room kiting it.
You didn't know. It was a kiteable boss.
The things you learn after you're done.
The more you know. Let's go to the meme video there. Yeah.
It was like, the snake comes up, Gabe's like, fuck this. Doink, arrow to the face.
Yes, because the snake's not taking the bait, the zombie bait. And the zombie was actually being quite stealthy.
Yes.
Ninja
zombie.
Yeah, pretty much. And he started climbing on the snake.
Yeah.
Like a fool. And the snake was rising out of the pit, and Gabe shot the snake, and it confused the snake, and it gave him a reason not to go for the zombie because he was part confused with Gabe as well. And of course,
Gabe knocked it into the pit.
Slow-witted. He skirmished to the other side of its tail back into the pit, and the weight of its body dragged it back down into the pit, and then it finally rediscovered the zombie in the end.
Like, oh, there you are. Well, there's something climbing me.
And tore him apart. Tore him at the hip, at the waist.
And we're like,
snapped his body round like that, twisted it so it was facing the round like that, permanently broken, and then just pounded him, threw him through the air against the pit. You know, just smashed his body against it, and there he lay with like his entire centre caved, and what it was a huge compression break where the spine had just actually, it hadn't even just snapped. The act of squeezing had squeezed and like crushed the bone almost to powder.
Yeah. Fun.
So you know the group was at that saying, well, you know, we don't want to really engage this thing. So I know what we'll do. Let's engage it.
Well, Gabe shotted it again.
And then it was coming.
Tanadil was going to run into it, but like Karak was like, wait a second. I will use Shape Earth to shoot a jagged edge of earth into it.
Yes, which did hurt it. You know, that was effective. Now,
Tanadil goes in and like, I'm going to cut it with my sword.
yes.
He whacked it. He whacked it good, but it shrugged it off.
Now, it has a very special ability. And what it can do is it can take, you've just damaged me.
For fuckloads.
For like,
Tanadil's like 30 plus in some rounds.
Yeah, like 30 odd damage or something ridiculous. At one point, I think he did like 42.
Which was over the course of 2 attacks, but you were like, no, I'm just going to negate all of your attacking at this point.
What I've done in bringing it over from the D20 system into this. And do you know what? Just for the hell of it, I'm going to make its stats available for you on the blog.
This thing's got a nice ability where it can shrug off damage at a cost.
Yes, basically it sheds its skin, sloughs it off, and in doing so, in shrugging off that damage, loses 1 point of armour. Its natural scale armour.
Permanently.
Yeah. Well, for the battle.
For that battle, yes. Until it can harden its scales again properly.
So it was shrugging off a lot of damage.
From Tanadil primarily, yeah.
Effectively ended up with a very high health pool without having a high health pool.
Mm-hmm.
By shrugging off the biggest blows.
Yep.
So the fight got underway. Everyone pretty much just jumped at it and tried to take it down. Gabe too gave up on Hawk's Flight and jumped in there.
Yeah, Jazz was taking the piss with like Warcraft references, like LFG ST. No huntards, please. We would have needed a fucking huntard.
Well, Jez Tanador is the damn huntard.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't he?
He's a melee huntard.
It's because he's a warrior ranger.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the pet that's part of his class now, thanks to the messed up specialisation route I've allowed him down.
Yes.
Right. Well, anyway, and he's gonna unlock something else next level for that.
Yes.
Great.
During the course of this battle, both Delilah and Gabe got coiled.
It's got that nice little ability. And so it keeps squeezing the life out of you, and you need a target number 16 to escape. Advanced threshold 16, target number 13, strength might test.
With minus all 3 tests whilst coiled.
Minus 3/2, yes, indeed. And so that's difficult.
To top it off, Gabe got dexterity debuff too.
And, you know, to try and escape from it is a major action. So you've got to decide, am I going to attack, or am I going to try and escape from it this round?
Yeah.
But allies can help you.
By doing what?
By jumping in and grabbing at it, trying to assist you.
Which would basically reduce their turn as well.
Well, it's got to come from somewhere, but if you want to be free of the coil, that's how to do it. He also had a really, really nasty 5 stunt point,
which he did twice.
Yes, once on Gabe.
Actually, I think he did it 3 times.
And once, I think it was just the twice.
Well, he did the Tanadil first. Actually, he did the bleed effect damage on Tanadil twice.
He did the bleed effect damage on Tanadil, yeah. And let's say just a pure, straight-up D6 penetrating, and then he follows...
Knocks you flying.
That's if you fail a Constitution Stamina test. And then after that, he throws you anyway for 2d6...
Piercing?
I think it was piercing. I don't remember if it was piercing or not. Against the side of the pit. And that's nice.
Yep. Gabe took that and started to die.
Yeah. I mean, the other guys were getting beaten up a lot, and Delilah was trapped inside that coil for ages.
So was Gabe, until it decided to chuck him.
Gabe was still fighting back quite well, actually, though, wasn't it?
He was trying, yes, because the times I did do the test to try and break free, I failed. Like, right, I probably shouldn't have done that, because of things. But yes.
Because reasons.
Yes.
And
reasons
when he when he chucked Gabe, Gabe went into dying state, and he had 4 rounds to be saved in.
However, he was in the threshold of needing overhealage to because of minus wounds.
I do. Yes, I run a system where if the secondary source of damage is close enough to the first, I'll sometimes say it's not second damage to count as a killing blow, as a finisher, as a coup de grace.
Yeah.
That it's actually going to instead require overhealing to get you to 0. Yeah. If you then receive a normal whack of damage, then it would be the killing blow.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit fair like that.
However, Gabe was still under a bleed effect.
Yes. And it came down to the fact that if Gabe was going to roll, if for his bleed effect he was going to have more than 2
damage, yep. Because his armor because it was piercing.
Because Carrick had already put out a lot of... He went into Spirit Healer mode and he starts putting out all these AoEs to try and heal everyone. Because Harold, the lion, the Red Lion of Tanador, got completely screwed over as well.
Yeah, he was almost dead from the start.
And the whole group were going down, weren't they? Just kind of fairly fat. Because this thing puts out... I'm going to tell you right now. 3d6 plus 10.
So even on a bad roll, it's going to be 13.
So...
And only Amelia could take a lot of that.
But you guys are level 9.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest with you, for a boss, that's about
you
right.
wouldn't expect anything less, to be honest.
That was about right for a
boss.
boss
Like that.
Wasn't it?
I think I remember the only thing doing
a zombie avatar of
similar
God.
To that was the serpent in the Shadow Moss one, which was like I think 3d6 plus 7, but still.
And so, if you consider how far away that is, that's not a big up, is it? Really?
No, considering that was like an early level 5 boss.
Yeah, exactly.
We're doing this at level 9.
So it's 3 more damage.
3 more damage, yes.
But he's got some really nasty stunts.
Which basically can make that
3d6
go up to like 5d6 plus.
And of course, you've got to remember, he's also got a -4 dexterity in Venom.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So improves Spider's Venom.
So what happened was, when Gabe got healed by Karak's AoE heal, Bloody Glue, I said, well, you know, it's improved it to -2. And then the next heal got rid of it.
Yeah.
And then you get poisoned again.
Yep.
And it's back in there. But anyway, at this point you're all dying and stuff and all that nice thing. And
yeah.
Karak
gets a group heal. It doesn't put me above my minus threshold.
No. So you're still there, still bleeding out. And
what does he roll? A fucking 3 for the bleed damage.
3. It needed to be a 1 or 2. So, at this point, I say, right, okay. Because it's only by 1, and I hate the thought of someone sort of definitely dying from a killing blow, right, on a bleed effect, that when they've still got a couple of rounds of actually dying mode left in them, realistically. So, and I rolled a 3 instead of a 2 that would just let them carry on bleeding. Because the options were, not to be saved, but carry on bleeding to death, right, dying with the 2 rounds left, or just outright be killed. So I thought,
give him a chance.
If it was anything but a 3, I think Gabe would have been done right there.
Yeah.
So I gave Gabe a chance to do a Constitution stamina test.
Which I failed.
Of 17. Yeah.
At first.
Then you used the Dragon Point.
Mm-hmm.
And you passed.
Yep.
You rolled a 17.
Yep.
You needed a 17. On this, I used one of my mad at-the-table GM things. When I need to come up with something on the spot that's not planned for, like a hell of a lot of things that happen, sometimes I will do this. I'll roll 3d6, add 4 to it, and that's the test.
Brilliant.
That's what I did with that test.
So I could have gotten really lucky, and it could have been a 7.
That was the test. That's how I did the test. And I remember, you know, so I added 4 to it, so that tells you what the dice were. So anyway, mad. And basically, just so that you all understand, using this process, say back 1 set ago, like 1 to 5, I would have probably just rolled 3d6 and made that the target number.
Hmm.
Or the fallback on one tends to be just 14.
Yeah.
But at tier 2, everything tends to be hovering around like 17 because they really need that 17 if you want to start making it more difficult.
Yeah.
You know, you've got to start pushing them, challenging them.
Indeed.
So Gabe was hanging on for another round. Now Karak decided, I'm going to try and heal him, but we've worked out that you can heal within the range of your spell power. Now that's a very good little homebrew, seeing as they don't state any ranges, and the way it reads off the paper is
And the silly thing is
that you have to actually be there in melee to touch them to heal them.
there is one spell that says it. Revive. You have to be adjacent.
Yes. And even
if he had cast Revive on me,
Mhm.
I would have been fine.
He couldn't get there.
He would have needed to jump into the pit.
He moved forward.
In fact, he has Revival because he's a journeyman spirit healer.
And the other thing was, he'd wasted a minor
Lyrium potion.
getting the lyrium out.
Mm-hmm.
The lyrium potion, because he'd burnt through so much mana getting there, and then in there being the heal bot,
Yeah.
that when it came time to actually have to heal you,
Mm-hmm.
he's drew the heal potion. Now, the lyrium potion, I wonder if he activated the charge on his robes.
Might have done.
To give him 3 mana back by then.
Might have done. No clue.
Because that's enough for a 3
A
heal.
3-point normal heal, but still, you still would have had to get in range.
So he was out of range, which is what we call spell power. So he ran forward and ran round the edge of the pit to get into range. But of course, that was his second thing he did. So that was a minor and a minor and all.
A minor and a major, but yes.
Yes. So he's
Gabe
there.
now has to take another test.
And then it's Gabe's go again. So it all came down to this. And you decided to do it the other way around this time.
Mm-hmm.
You said, right, look, Rob, I know you're going to test the Constitution stamina, so I'm going to get that out the way. And you roll, what, like a 16 or something? Or, no, it was low, wasn't it?
I think I rolled like a 13.
Then you used the Dragon Point.
I'm like, that's even worse.
It was like 9 or something ridiculous.
Well, it was actually like 12.
Okay.
But still.
And so we knew that the Constitution wouldn't hold out this time.
I was like, I'll only take the Dragon Point off if I actually needed to actually run that test.
So, what did I roll? He needs a 1 or 2, remember, because of the armour he's wearing, which is red steel, so he's actually in light mail.
Mm-hmm.
Red
steel light mail, yeah.
Okay. So I roll it, and it goes behind the screen, and I don't even look. And I show the players that I haven't even looked yet. And they're looking at me to see that I haven't even looked yet.
And then Jez pokes his head around the screen like he usually does when we're in situations like this. He's like...
Which he shouldn't do. He should not go beyond that dimension, that player to GM dimension. You're not supposed to... You're not supposed to intersect over that.
Not really. There are people who roll dice openly.
You can see my hands.
They're like...
I'll pick up the screen and I'll lift it and show you the dice if I want you to see the dice.
Which you did. This end point.
It's what I'll do.
And... Well...
It was a 3.
Yeah.
Not a 2 or a 1,
Yeah.
which you needed.
Yep.
So Gabe was bleeding out.
Lick the dust.
Bleeding damage, done. Gone. Goner.
And this is where everyone was like, right.
And the snake was finally finished off by Blacktail.
Yeah.
Who'd shut his eyes to get away from the...
Fear effect, which it was pulling off several times during that fight too.
The fear effect was actually... It was a bit like onions that gets in through your eyes.
A pheromone or whatever.
And it was coming from his deep tissues that were being split open.
Mm.
Think of it like a black dragon's breath.
Hmm. In what system?
I don't know, but it's usually poison, right?
Usually, yes.
So
It's
you think of this as a
acid.
Think of this as a toxin within it.
Mm.
Within its zombie form, it's corrupted. Its essence of power has turned into a corrupted energy.
So yes, Gabe has bit the dust.
And the snake gets finished off. Bloody great big.
Everyone else is like, revenge!
Yeah. Now,
We shall avenge him.
Karak doesn't want to leave it at that.
No, we don't.
Karak is a Grey Warden.
That he is.
So, and he's very flippant with
Character in general.
with consequences.
Mm-hmm.
Generally,
He was like, right, Rob, what if I burned my remaining mana and all my lyrium potions
3 lyrium potions.
to bring him back?
I said, well, you know, no heal spell will do that, I'm afraid. However, I said, and now you see, as soon as the GM says something like that to you, this GM,
you know something fucked is going to happen.
you know that it's not necessarily a good thing he's about to tell you.
No.
Because I said, do you really want to cross that barrier and start bringing someone back from the dead? Are you sure you want to go there, Karak? Because,
If you do, it's going to make you have to cost health.
as soon as you go there, it's a place where you don't come back from.
Yep.
And, you know, I mean, okay. The fact is,
you actually got to bring Gabe back.
would it be Gabe? We've seen things like this before. People can be changed. Would it be a spirit in there?
Would it
Fuck,
be a
would it be
demon?
Squire?
Would it be a demon?
Or Squire all along pretending to be Gabe?
Mm-hmm.
And that actually still might have been the case.
No
So,
spoilers here.
What?
What?
So, I say there's one way you could do it. Temporarily. And just revive the form and hope you still get the spirit intact. You're a Grey Warden, which means that you have got empowered archdemon blood in your veins.
Yeah.
You are connected to the Darkspawn.
Oh.
He'd just taken a concoction of lyrium. He's got archdemon blood.
And Darkspawn blood in general.
He fills a whole pot of it up, takes a whole load of health loss, takes a...
Permanent strength loss.
Yes. I think it was 1 strength loss.
Permanently.
Off of his stats. I'm no believer in all of this, oh, it will heal back. You know, okay, sometimes, yes. But sometimes something should happen. You know?
Constitution damage.
It carves itself out of your soul. And by the way, that was a random stat rolled for...
You basically could have gone and said, yep,
Magic.
your magic goes down by 1.
Dexterity.
Or anything else. Communication, wisdom, willpower, so on and so
Just
forth.
consider that a moment.
Yes, well, considering the fact that later on we had another one. Well,
When I saw
had 2 of those things occur later
When I
on.
saw it was strength, I thought, you lucky bugger, you're a mage.
You don't use strength that often.
Okay, you know, it's going to be a bit screwy for you if you ever want to hit someone with your stick, but, you know, that's
Yeah.
alright. Okay, alright. So, I said, okay, are you doing this? And he said, yeah, I'm definitely doing it. I'm doing it anyway. I said, you're going to need to drain your blood and try to get Gabe to swallow it. And then I had to test to see if Gabe could receive it.
Mm-hmm.
And he tested to be able to receive it, and he failed the test by 1.
However, because Karak procced
and got 5 stunt points, I allowed him to do it with stunt points. Now, because he's brought him back, and Gabe sat up, and he seemed sort of bewildered and what's going on here. I've basically had a mini joining from a Grey Warden's blood to bring me back. Hey, what? However, because he's had to come back from the stunt points, let's just put it this way. It's
not bad enough that I probably would have had to take an injury if I survived.
I've taken it into account. Let's just say that, all right? And I've had words with Laurie, and he knows the potential outcomes. He doesn't know whether there's anything wrong with Gabe now, or not wrong with him. He doesn't.
Well, there is something wrong with him, but not in the magical sense.
Well, there was something wrong with him before this, if that's what you mean. Before this happened. Something...
Well, it's Gabe. There's definitely something wrong with him.
Yeah. And...
Considering after he was killed, Craig was like, Laurie, that was one of your better characters. I'm like, I know!
Yes. And it was only the pathos that, for me, allowed this to happen. I think that, game breaking or mechanics, it's not even game breaking, it's mechanics pushing the boundaries of the mechanics out there. If there is something sacrificial connected to it, because Dragon Age is all about you want to win, you're going to have to lose something.
In this case,
lose a part of yourself. Gabe
also lost a part of himself.
Went from perception, which
3.
was rolled for as a stat randomly.
We went from perception 3.
Yes, that was your random roll.
The 6.
What would you have rather had?
I don't know. Something that wasn't roguey, but even then. Maybe willpower or magic? Magic primarily, maybe?
Which it could have been, but...
No, it wasn't a B.
So you went down on -2 perception.
Is that -2 off of my maximum perception, or -2 as in I now have -2 perception?
You now have -2 perception, as low as it gets. A critical 3 rolled from the start stats.
Yeah.
Critical failure.
Mm-hmm.
Gabe came back with milky white eyes. He's blind as well. So perception seeing tests are no longer possible. He can never gain the perception seeing focus.
But he can improve his perception.
Yes.
It is a main stat, so it's a bit easy to do.
So he can do it he can, improve like hearing and empathy and things like that. But
smelling, but just not seeing. Although I guess tracking maybe as well.
Smelling, what do you think I am? Chris Pramas?
It's in there.
Yes. Well,
I was making jokes like, oh great, now I can make frickin' Daredevil.
Yes. So, just what are the implications of Gabe being forcibly brought back like this? And for me, that's more interesting. The idea of holding something over the party and over him that could backfire at any moment is a lot more fun.
Gabe being dead makes him slightly connected to the Fae too.
Yes. Temporarily dead, as he was. Yes.
Might be more sensitive to things or some shit, I don't know.
Yes, it could affect the allowances of what opens up to him for his second specialisation.
Because, let's put it this way. Okay, yes, he is what, exactly? A rogue.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking of possibly the spy route or whatever.
But,
But there's a lot of things... I think it was the ranger in that.
It's great, I think. When you start out with a character concept, you very often come in and you say, he's like this is his personality, this is his background, okay? So this is the stuff behind him, and this is what I envisage is ahead of him. And I want him to go into this, and I want him to go into that. And then things happen.
That alter that course.
Experiences occur that make you further fill out his backstory. It also makes you choose new experience gains, stats, skills, and things that you wouldn't have initially thought about taking based on the experiences you've had.
Indeed.
And it also affects your future so that you can end up in a way that you never ever considered would happen. And that is perfect because, ladies and gentlemen, let me just tell you, that is life. John Lennon once famously said, life is what happens to you when you are busy making other plans. And I think, that captures the sentiment.
And we all know that those plans never survive first contact with the enemy, which is life in this case.
Yeah. So, there we have it. Gabe brought back And, you know, they stumble on with him.
Blind as fuck.
He's not going to be able to continue in the adventure.
He's going to have to retrain himself.
So he's out. That means Amelia's going to have to come in. But she was due to come in anyway based on what's coming up. Because Branty was calling her in.
But now you've probably got to shoehorn her into here.
Or not.
Mm.
Actually, I don't shoehorn.
Yes. Which means I could technically play a temporary character or something else.
Yes, I've been thinking about that already.
Because Gabe will have to sit this out. He cannot see. He is going to be worthless to the party on that front.
I'm evil. I'm going to let him come in as Amelia. Right.
But not here.
Right. With Gabe's experience. But not here. But for instance, I might say, okay, Laurie, you get to play, I don't know, terrible NPC boss of some sort.
Okay? Here's the thing. That could have happened when somebody trying to get Gabe back. It could have turned around and was like, yeah, Gabe is now going to try to kill you all.
But
because it's not Gabe.
But he would have got ganked. So it wouldn't have really been that effective because the group's uber powerful.
Yeah.
But, and you've got a mad healer.
Although slightly weakened due to
backing you up as well.
A mad healer who has no more mana.
Yes, there's that, I suppose. I thought it was a brilliant session.
Mm-hmm. And that wasn't the end of it, no.
It had drama, didn't it?
Yeah.
And there was one sacrifice still to come. Could you believe that?
We had to go back up.
You gave the items to Alistair, and he said, look, you need to put them on the altar.
I can't touch them, I'm ethereal.
There's one last thing, you need to make the ultimate sacrifice to yourself. It's going to be permanent, okay?
You will lose a bit of yourself.
It's gonna
you won't die, but you will lose a bit of
blood.
yourself.
It's going to have to be blood. So Delia comes forward and says, hey, you know, look, I'll take the bullet for the team.
Whilst Karak hits her with a knife.
And Karak brings her forward straight over to the altar and then goes, slash on her arm. And there you go, yep. And he's like, look, Pete's
I fucking volunteered.
I already volunteered. What are you rushing, hurrying on along like that, doing that for? That's not very nice, is it? And then I'm like, oh, okay, 3d6 damage. Yeah, you've just taken like 16 damage as your...
But you still need to do the ritual correctly.
And the priest is then like, now we are ready for the blood ritual. And the whole table just starts laughing like hell.
Yes, because we have to cut... Delia has to cut her own wrists with the fangs, which we broke out the serpent mouth. I have no idea what he needed the venom for, but meh.
The fangs were coated in the venom.
Oh, that's nice.
So, / wrists.
Literally.
And, he was
lost another 16 points of damage. Milking himself.
He was milking. He was blooding himself into the bowl.
Milking his blood. Yes.
Like that. So he's given his little sacrificial bit,
and he lost 2 con permanently.
He went from 2 constitution down to 0, which now, because we're in tier 2, is going to affect his future level up health gains.
Especially when we hit tier 3, because of the fact that you only gain your con at level ups. Currently.
Yes. And obviously you're level...
At least according to the beta rules.
You're level 9.
We're very close to that.
And I think everyone's got enough health as it is anyway.
Well, let's put it this way.
So...
Gabe's got like 70 odd, Tanadil's got 80, Karak's probably got like 60 something.
But again, I think this is very realistic because, you know, you see in these RPGs that people just get more powerful, their gear and everything else. Their stats.
Like I have a +5 great sword of
the stuff
dragon slaying that Orca also does dancing bullshit and flaming death.
The things they go through would permanently hurt them in certain key areas. And that has to be reflected somewhere. There's going to be a torn ligament that will never ever get back. Right, you know.
And what I literally just described there is the type of sword that Tanadil wants.
Someone's arm nearly torn.
By the way. The +5 great sword of dragon slaying that also has flaming death.
Can you imagine someone's arm nearly torn off, right?
This is kind of what Ander went on about at several points.
You're trying to get it back on and it healing over the months and the years and it still hurts.
Now, Ander pretty much went on about this in a video a very long time ago as well, so yes.
You know, that's what a true person living in these times, fighting, combating,
happened to them.
Would have to deal with.
It's not like, oh, you have gone down to 0 health, you get back up, you are fine.
Yeah, so I think in the case of like Dragon Age, where your team well, I'm seeing this team stuff is getting quite powerful. And, you know, it's just, even if you just play it to the mechanics, and you don't really give them too much to bolster, the things like
they can become quite powerful if they do things in a particular way. I mean, Gabe...
Players have a natural tendency to want to meta at least their health. Because they think, oh, get that con in early. Ooh, I know how the mechanics work.
Well, it depends on what they are. I mean,
oh, get that magic in early, because
let's put it this way, and...
There's my phone, there's Toby.
Well, let's put it this way. Tanadil has boosted his strength constantly and his dex. He hasn't taken a single con.
We don't have the time.
So basically, he hasn't gained that much. But
don't worry about the sound in the background there.
If you can hear it.
So Delia has given it up. The Jade Serpent.
Delilah, whatever.
Delia. The way it's spelled is really confuses us. It comes up out of the altar, and Tanadil's like, we could have just busted it open and taken it. I said, you didn't know it was in there. But you know.
And character grabs it and he's like, Alistair is like, you better leave now. The whole place comes down on your head.
And it starts rumbling, rumble, and you run for it. And then it turns out that the guards are all in a frenzy and up and about, and there's something going on, right?
Because somebody has accelerated the activation of the lighthouse.
And Tanador wants to go speak to the guards. And that's where we left off. So,
well, we had another idea. Got to go speak to whatever his blinking name is, the serpent. Castello, yes.
Yes,
High Priest Furon, Castello, whatever his name is.
Same thing.
Same guy.
The serpent man on your side to actually ask him how the Jade Serpent works, because you almost.
Let's go straight to the lighthouse.
You almost made the mistake.
Let's go straight to the lighthouse. We need to stop this. We don't know what we're fucking doing with it. It's like, oh yeah, we don't, do we?
No. No, you don't. So
it's like we could just stand there and put it somewhere and go, ooga booga 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 booga. It's not working.
Anyway, you're now nicely up to date. I don't know what's going to happen next. And so, we'll leave it there.
Oh, then Gabe possibly now needs to do a proper joining too. Because he's fucked. He could become a ghoul.
Yes.
If he actually still survives.
But has this ever happened before? A warden gives some of his blood. That's not even normal blighted blood, is it?
No, it's especially created for purposes of becoming a warden. So he might be semi-wardenish as it is.
Duncan's going to have a report of this.
Heck, chances are that next ship back to fucking Baranti, back to the mainland, if we survive that long, considering how bad we just had it here, what could possibly happen next with the fucking lighthouse?
Karak has the right of conscription, and he wants to now bring Gabe in as a precaution into the Wardens.
Gabe doesn't really have much of a choice.
You never set out to want to bring him into the Wardens.
Not with Gabe, no. Amelia, possibly.
But isn't it interesting, again, how your character, just like life, doesn't turn out the way you thought.
Yeah.
And that's what would happen. That's fun, you know?
Indeed.
You shouldn't be able to anticipate. So, we'll leave it there. And we'll catch you on the next one after the next big update of what happens as they take on the lighthouse. But until next time, I will see you at the table. If the
we could have just ran around the room kiting it.
You didn't know. It was a kiteable boss.
The things you learn after you're done.
The more you know. Let's go to the meme video.
Yeah. And let's not forget, shut up and take my money.
Yes.
Although you did say you were going to do an adventure where we have to fight memes.
That would be good, wouldn't it? Yes, well, I threatened Nyan Cat, didn't I? I threatened you with Nyan Cat.
Yes. It's like, you're going to have to fight a cat that shoots rainbows out of its ass.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, don't worry, I've got Ceiling Cat on my side, says Jez.
Is that...
I was like, yeah, but then we're going to have to take on Router Cat, and they knows where your porn stash is.
Do you think Rainbow ass debris is piercing or penetrating?
I don't know. It is coming out of a cat that's body is a Pop-Tart.
What I've done in bringing it over from the D20 system into this. And do you know what? Just for the hell of it, I'm going to make its stats available for you on the blog. And, who knows, I may even post it up on Oracle and see if they want to bite a bit on there as well. Because a lot of stuff has been appearing on Oracle lately.
Well, they were trying to make Freeport an age system thing, weren't they, as well? So.
Well, too late. It's not going to benefit me.
True. Or us, considering what happened.
Yeah, so, but it's nice that I've gone my own way with it.
Mm-hmm.
I've done it our way.
Yeah.
So, you don't have to be reliant on modules. And I suppose the actual lack of Dragon Age content being around
has forced this to be done anyway by most people, I would guess.
Which is kind of a healthy thing in a way. Because I suppose it creates a mentality of not being reliant. But I don't think I'd want to play a system where there are no modules whatsoever. I wouldn't fancy it. I like the look of Grim, for example.
But it's got no modules. It's all your own work. I think that goes for most of the World of Darkness stuff too.
I haven't really seen it. I hear there's something or other, but because Martin's been sort of like on at me about it and different things, and he said that there's something I can run.
Vamps, werewolves, mages, whatever the hell
things
else.
like that. But I like to know that there's a lot of source material because I'm not the guy that completely creates, but I don't like running only modules. So I like taking a bit and sort of running with it and sort of maybe running a module and then being inspired to do a follow-up to that module perhaps based on what I want.
Mm-hmm.
So it all goes from there.